Going back to your journey along these 44, 45 years, talk to us about maybe 2-3 key choices you've made which have maybe shifted your trajectory. What were the choices you've had to make?
Frankly, I didn't have to make any choices. Somehow, after, in fact, let me go back to conversation with Professor Mathai. I was finishing my FPM, so I was to be the first FPM graduating. So I went to Professor Paul, who was the director those days, and said, is there a possibility to get a job here? So he asked me one question, have you taught somewhere? I said, I have taught in IIMA and so on, 1 or 2 sessions. I have not taught any course.
This was when you were doing your FPM, during your FPM?
Yeah, towards the end, almost. So he said, you go and teach in Professor Mathai's class. So you saw what happened earlier, no? Say another exam. So I took 4 classes there, and the 4th class was sort of climax. But I was not very comfortable with quantitative things. So there was a case which was essentially on warehouse selection and so on and so forth. And so I was to take that case. Now, previous day, I got some problem with my back that was regularly occurring those days. Now it is not that. So I told another colleague, look, go and tell Professor Mathai that I am not sure that I can take it tomorrow. So he went and told Mathai told him, tell Jain this is important. That was enough for me to. So, but by next morning I was better, so I went. By the time we had arranged somebody else who would handle that case. So one section I think I handled, the other section the gentleman handled. And while walking back, I asked him, why did you tell that fellow that this was important? You think I was making up? And so this is the beginning of the walk. And this was the last session in the course that I was taking with him. Walking later on, I asked him, look, you tell me frankly, will I work out as an academic or not? He kept mum for a minute. That was his usual way. Then he said, your style is very different than mine, but you will do well as an academic. If you have any difficulty, let me know. So these are kinds of things that you learn. So my decision was made. I needed that support, I think, somebody to tell me whether I was good here.
Sure.
I knew I wanted academics. That was decided earlier itself.
But along the 44 years, have you had to think, how has your thinking evolved in terms of where you want to spend your energy? Again, marketing is an ocean. How have you made choices in terms of directing your energy over a period of time?
See, it seems I'm a process person. Many people are more result oriented. I seem to be more bothered about processes. And so this process of running a class was one, which I still continue and try to improve it.
I remember I think your session was the very first session for us in terms of introduction to case methodology. So the process of how a case discussion happens, I think, was opened by you, if I remember right.
Right. And I myself did not have any formal training in this, but picked up over time. And the second thing that happened is, you see, in between in the marketing area, there was almost nobody. So Professor Vora and myself. Labdi Bhandari, who was an excellent colleague, both as a human being as well as a professional, he died in the air crash. And a lot of vacuum after that. So some of these newer faculties who joined, I mean, all the courses were open to me. I decided I'll do MR and continue to do it. I mean, I was doing it earlier itself.
And how did you pick MR? What was the choice?
It's the process. If you can understand research well, then that will help in decision making. And the entire framework of that course was like that. Nobody uses that framework, I think, anywhere else that sharply. See, you took MR?
Yes, I did.
Oh, so those 2 or 3 submissions in between, the kind of discussions you have, whether it is day or night, didn't matter. I still remember, whether you go through that process or do whatever. This is a chap called Mahajan, Vijay Mahajan, Pradhan. So I remember him still one day after field work coming and shouting. Everything had changed. He went out to, he and his group obviously, collect information and so on. Whatever they had thought was all junk. So if somebody can go through a process of learning, that is good enough. So that's the time I made the decision of moving to, I'll continue in the MR course. MR course existed earlier.
Sure.
Then 1 year the registration in that course went down to some 30. I mean, I couldn't comprehend. I was not taking the course till that time. So one Ruby Dholakia, she is retired now, Rhode Island, University of Rhode Island or something. So she was here. So we both of us looked at that outline, designed it again. We didn't find too many changes in that, but we made it work better. And after that first 32 registration, the next year it was close to 100. And so that continued till the end of 90s.